Hi, this is Dr. Enjoy. Are you tired of all the stress, trauma, mental illness, drugs, toxic relationships, money worries, identity crisis, gender dysphoria, grief, loss, purposelessness? Wouldn't it be great to have something to help guide you through all of this stress? Well, look no further. Purchase your Enjoyno, Nurturing Authentic Living. This isn't your ordinary journal. It's a 7-in-1 therapy companion that covers 5 crucial health areas: mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health, plus 2 core foundations: resilience and empowerment, crafted using my innovative Inspire Joy method. This book packs 300 pages filled with journal prompts, therapeutic worksheets, 100 positive affirmations, self-care tips, and action steps, all designed to help you unlock your path to less stress and more joy. Head to Amazon today to purchase your Enjoyno for just $39.08. If you continue carrying things on your back, carrying as much as you can, it's going to be painful. There's a reason why we unpack our stuff. There's a reason why we don't carry all our luggage coming back from vacation. You got to clean the stuff for one, and then you got to have clothes to put on. Obviously, this translates to you unpacking your mental baggage. Because if you don't unpack your mental baggage, you carrying all that weight throughout your whole life. And that weight is causing you pain. It's taking all your energy. It's causing you to feel tired. It's causing you to not live your best life. Why continue to carry that mental baggage? Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 62, Integrity Uncluttered, Unpacking Mental Baggage for a Lighter Life. We all want lighter life, right? So with this first episode of the Inspire Joy series, we talk about integrity because, as you know, I have published my first book, which happens to be a wellness journal called the Enjoyno. And in the Enjoyno, it is using the Inspire Joy method. That is something that I created. Inspire stands for something. And I've been talking about that the last few weeks, just so that you can get used to what is Inspire. And so with the Inspire Joy, because we want to inspire joy in our lives and we want to inspire joy in everyone else's lives around us. And that is exactly what I want to do on this Journey to Joy Live podcast, is inspire joy to you. So as we get into this Inspire Joy series, the first I in Inspire is integrity. So INSPIRE, integrity, nurture, stability, purpose, intimacy, resilience, and empowerment. So a few weeks ago, I got deeper into what is the Enjoyno. Pretty much was a nice overview. Even though it was deeper into it, it was still an overview of all the sections. So today I will go through the first section of the Enjoyno, which is the first I in Inspire, which is integrity. So that's where we get our integrity uncluttered. Because what does that actually mean? When we think of integrity, we think of our strengths, we think of being who we are, we think of honesty, we think of pureness. I think of being authentic. That's what the Enjoyno stands for: nurturing authentic living. So being able to be who you are, be yourself, and unapologetically, like, I don't care, I'm just going to be myself. And that's where the empowerment comes in at. It's so important to be able to live your true self. How many of us go around life not even trying to be fake? It's just that we feel like we can't be our true selves because we don't feel like we're in a safe space. A lot of us carry a lot of mental baggage, a lot of trauma, a lot of different things in our life, and we just don't feel safe being our true selves. Other people just, it's about not feeling safe being your true self, but also not even knowing who your true self is. In the age of growing up and transitioning into adulthood, it is definitely common to not know who you are, who you identify as, what you should be doing, and what your purpose is. But that can kind of stay throughout life. If you haven't figured it out in your 20s and you are in your 30s and you still haven't figured it out, and you might be in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you still trying to figure it out. So it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still trying to figure out who you are. So the Enjoino is really good at helping you determine who you are, what is your purpose, and being able to live that life with integrity. So within integrity, it's like I said, the usual definition we think of authenticity, being honest, being transparent, being who you are. Within the Enjoino, the integrity piece takes into account that it's all of those things that I just mentioned, but also our thoughts, how we think, what we bring to the table mentally, our emotions, our emotional health. Gratitude, are we grateful? Our spiritual health. And then, of course, the baggage of the trauma that haunts us that we continue to carry. So, even just in the integrity section of the Enjoino, it breaks up into four different sections, looking at our thought health, our emotional health and emotional regulation, looking at gratitude, being able to cultivate gratitude brings us joy, as well as the last piece, getting through the traumas that we have experienced. And, I like mnemonics. I mean, it's a reason why Enjoino, NAL, stands for Nurturing Authentic Living. And it's a reason why I have Inspire, which stands for the Integrity, Nurture, Stability, Purpose, Intimacy, Resilience, and Empowerment, as I mentioned. Well, guess what? Integrity kind of stands for something. The I, it was integrity, but the T in integrity is the thoughts. So getting into our thought shifts, and the E in integrity is the emotions, getting to the emotions, and the GR in integrity, gratitude, and the TY is trauma yields. Trauma yields strength. Trauma yields healing. It doesn't have to just yield pain of the past. So that explains that. So once you get it, you pick it up, you'll see what I mean. Look back at this video if you're just like, what's going on? As I said, I have glossary of all these terms. So let's jump right in. Think about it. Think about it. Unpacking mental baggage for a lighter life. When you go on vacation, what do? You take a bag. I mean, if you're like my husband, you might take a laptop bag and pack all your clothes in a laptop bag. But if you're me, you will have a carry-on bag, a rollaway bag. You are going to check a huge bag, and you are going to have your purse and like this big old bag. So that's 3 bags, right? And you're going to just pack everything you can in this 3-day trip, 4-day trip, however many days, because you don't know what you're going to wear each day. So you're going to pack everything. You can pack like at least 4 ideas that you can have each day. So you got 4 outfits per day just in case. And that's for a 3 to 4 day trip. So that's like 12 outfits. And you got to pack like 20 pairs of underwear for some reason, right? And then if you go into the pool, you got to have cover-ups. You got to have a ton of swimsuits. You don't want to run out of those. And then, once you go on a trip, you're going to pick up a lot of stuff because you want to buy things, you want to buy souvenirs. And for some people, they buy a new bag to put those souvenirs in or to put those new clothes in. So now you got the 3, 4 bags that you brought, and now you're taking home 5, 6 bags. Now imagine that once you got home with all those bags, you continue to carry those bags around as you went to work. And then as you went to pick up the kids, you continue to carry those bags. And then as you went to pick up some food at the grocery store, you just carry around all those bags. Because that's why the airport experience is so trying, because we carrying all those bags, right? But at least you get to check the bag. At least you get to put it up in the upper stowaway, right? But let's imagine we get home from our trip, but we are still carrying all these bags anyway. We didn't unpack them. We just carrying them. What happens if you're going to carry all those bags? First of all, you have no room to carry all those bags. You only got 2 arms, and it's going to hurt. Even if you carrying the lightest bag over your shoulder, it's going to hurt eventually. I know when we tried to do a backpack, taking only backpacks to Europe in 2019, right before COVID, my shoulder was killing me throughout that trip. I'm like, I am never going with just only a backpack trying to carry all my stuff. My point is that if you continue carrying things on your back, carrying as much as you can, it's going to be painful. There's a reason why we unpack our stuff. There's a reason why we don't carry all our luggage coming back from vacation. You got to clean the stuff for one, and then you got to have clothes to put on. Obviously, this translates to you unpacking your mental baggage. Because if you don't unpack your mental baggage, you carrying all that weight throughout your whole life. And that weight is causing you pain. It's taking all your energy. It's causing you to feel tired. It's causing you to not live your best life. Why? Continue to carry that mental baggage. And a lot of people feel victim blamed when professionals like me say things like that because they feel like, well, why are you putting it on me? They feel like it's them that they're traumatized. They feel like it's their fault for carrying the baggage or for being that way or for being abused or for being traumatized. That is not what we're saying. We are not victim blaming. It is not your fault. But if you continue to carry those bags around, there is a certain point where you have control over the way you feel. You have control over your reactions. You have control over getting rid of those bags and unpacking it. Maybe you need help unpacking your bags. Maybe that bag, the zipper done broke and you can't unzip it. Or there's a piece of material stuck in the zipper and you just can't get it out. Maybe you got to rip it open. Maybe that bag is old and you got to throw it out. Either way, there is no reason for you to continue to carry those bags around throughout your day. Unpack them and get rid of that pain that you are experiencing. So, how do we do that, right? So, I mentioned our thoughts. All starts with our thoughts. If only it was as easy as opening up our minds and unpacking our brain. It's not that easy to just physically do that. But, it's a metaphor, unpacking your bags. But the way you do it mentally is to go through your thought shifts, the first section of integrity, shifting your thoughts from thinking negatively to thinking positively. I talk about this so much to my patients, and I recognize that sounds fluffy. Who are you to tell me to just think my way out of my depression? It goes a long way. But that's why it's not just about that. It's not just about medication. It's not just about therapy, but it's about all these other things that we do to unpack our baggage. So starting with thinking positively, being able to examine your thoughts and challenge them. You're a detective of your own thoughts. What did I just think about? What was that thought? I mean, look at this. Let me see. Where's my first page of the thought shifts? So the first question is what thought is troubling me? Ask yourself that. When you're feeling a certain way, what thought is troubling me? And is this a fact or a perception? I've had many thoughts that come through my mind, and I have to really explore, okay, something's going on. I'm feeling a certain way all of a sudden. Like I thought I was feeling good. I thought my day was going good, but what thought just happened? Did I tell myself, oh, I couldn't do this? Did I tell myself, oh, your hair just not looking good today? Or did I say, oh, I got that bump on my face? What was the thought that I had? So examine that thought. Oh, he looking at me that way because he doesn't like me. I'm a burden. What was that thought? Well, is it a fact or is it just your perception? Majority of the time, the thoughts that we have, especially us ladies, it's a perception. We're a little biased. Depression makes us biased. Anxiety makes us biased. A lot of mental illness makes us biased, right? And I'm not even talking about psychosis and not being able to reality test, but we can be very biased looking through the lens of our depression or of our anxiety or of our stress that causes us to think negatively and just assume the worst. My husband listening, he know I can just think something or assume something. He's like, okay, well, that's your opinion. Okay, I don't know about that. But, I've been having to listen to myself, what I tell you all. And I think to myself, okay, did he really think that? I don't think he thought that. That's me thinking that. I think that's a perception. So once you get through that, identifying the thought and if it's a thought or a factor of perception, how does it influence your feelings or actions? Because clearly, if you're thinking negatively, it's going to influence your feelings in a particular way. It's going to influence your actions. If you're feeling down because your spouse said something about you and you took it the wrong way and you turned it to think that they said that you're a failure or that you're not going to ever do no good in life, then of course that's going to make you feel sad and depressed and inadequate. And that's going to make you detach from them and not even want to talk to them. So that changes how you feel and what you do because you are thinking things. So it's important. And of course, this takes from lots of different therapeutic strategies. The thought section is looking at cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what this is. I talk about it a lot, right? So, our thoughts being related to our emotions, being related to our behaviors, CBT. And it's very important to be that detective and ask yourself, what evidence supports or contradicts this thought? Okay, so this person looked at me a certain way, and I said, well, they must think I suck. Okay. Well, what's the evidence that they think you suck? Past experience? Has they said that before? Or is it just you think you suck? Which is why we need to change the way we think about ourselves. I said a few weeks ago, we bully ourselves a lot. So you need to explore, why am I thinking this thought, and challenge it? And, what is the evidence that that thought is true, that that person really does think you suck? Oh, well, they said it. Okay. No, okay. Well, if they said it, then, that's the evidence. But if they didn't even say it, then what makes it true? Well, I failed that test. So I'm pretty sure that teacher thinks I suck. Are you pretty sure about that? Did they say it? Usually teachers don't think you suck. They're there to promote you and help you do better, right? So it's a matter of really looking through our thoughts, and we don't like to take time. So you need to take time to explore your thoughts, examine your thoughts, and really start to reframe your thoughts. Rescript that internal dialogue. We all have an internal dialogue, what we are saying to ourselves. So rescript that and reframe it to say things that are more positive for you and that promotes your growth, promotes your integrity, because that is how you get closer to authenticity and experiencing a lighter life. So a part of unpacking that mental baggage that you have is getting those negative thoughts out, exploring those thoughts, changing those automatic thoughts, because there are thoughts that are so bad that come to our mind right away, and we're so used to listening to them. So we need to identify what is that automatic thought that we have when we're triggered and change it immediately to a different thought. It's just like changing a channel. You on TV. Ooh, just the other day, actually. I was gonna say, because people don't flip through channels no more. We streaming, right? So actually, a good example is Deliverance. My husband gonna turn on Deliverance. And I already know I don't like those kind of movies with the spirits and stuff. I don't watch those movies. I think Blair Witch is probably the only one I've watched. I've watched The Ring. But yeah, I guess that's got spirits. So I've watched that in the past. But for the most part, I don't watch those deliverance exorcism movies. So my husband turned it on. So I was like, cool. This is the point where I go work out. So I was getting ready to ask him, how long is this movie? Because I'm gonna work out for that long. And he's heard the music. I heard the music. I was even in the other room. And just listening to the way they were talking to each other at the beginning, it wasn't even no spirits or evilness yet. It was just the setup of the movie. And I was just like, nah, this not right. Even my husband was like, you know what? I can't watch this. He turned it right off. That's what you have to do with your negative thoughts. Turn it off. You might not be able to control that first automatic thought yet. Turn it off like it's the deliverance. Why are you exposing yourselves to that movie? Okay, wait, we're not talking about the movie. Why are you exposing yourselves to those negative thoughts? Negative thoughts work. They will make you feel bad. Positive thoughts work. They will make you feel good. All right, so that E in integrity are our emotion shifts. Let's change our emotions, shift them from negative emotions to positive emotions. It starts out with thoughts because you got to change your thoughts in order to change your emotions. So within that emotion shift section, I explore the dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. DBT is a gold standard therapy for borderline personality disorder, if you've heard of that. And, doing these strategies aren't just for people with borderline personality disorder. So I'm not saying that everybody who buys this book has that. No, no, no. I'm not even saying everybody who buys this book has a mental disorder. It just has therapeutic strategies that can help the everyday person no matter what. So, anyhow, dialectical behavioral therapy involves mindfulness, being able to have a clear mind, emotional regulation, as well as distress tolerance. So, I pull from that to help you ask those questions. And if you were watching me live yesterday on Instagram, I was talking about the school shooting and I actually went through some of these questions. So if something happens, and it was pretty difficult to go through this worksheet in relation to the school shooting because, they're asking questions about identify the emotion. What emotion am I experiencing? Was there a specific event? Well, yeah, it was a school shooting. So it'd be easier to go through that with something like, okay, what emotion am I experiencing? Something unrelated to that, right? Let's say something else happened, like your boss said that you weren't doing the work properly, right? And so all of a sudden you started feeling down. And so you pull out your journal and you say, "Okay, why am I feeling down? Okay, what's going on? I'm just feeling weird. I'm feeling so anxious and like irritable all of a sudden." So you say, "Well, what emotion am I experiencing?" "Well, I'm a little anxious. I just feel real antsy, real shifty. I just don't know." Was there a specific event that made you feel that way? That's a really good question to ask yourself because a lot of us go through our day just feeling that feeling. I'm in my feelings. I just feel this way. You don't even ask yourself why. You don't even ask yourself what's the trigger. So that is number one. Why you feel that way? Was there something that happened? So then you're gonna think to yourself, oh, this morning my boss said I didn't do such a good job on that report and they wanted me to redo it. So then you think to yourself, okay, how is this emotion shaping my thoughts? So in the first section, you're thinking about your thought first and how your thought shapes your emotion. In this section, it's a matter of thinking about your emotions and how that shapes your thought. Because if you're going through your day and you're feeling irritable and antsy all of a sudden, that's going to make you think, okay, I'm just so stressed out. I hate everybody. Get out of my way. That's going to like change things, as far as what you think. And so, does that thought of get out of my way, everybody sucks because you're making me stressed out, does it reflect your core values? No, you don't really feel that way about people that had him get out your way. You don't really feel that way when you yell at your son when he asks for a popsicle. Usually you would have said, yeah, but since you're feeling so stressed out, now you're just yelling at your son for no reason. So no, it doesn't reflect your core thoughts or your core feelings and who you are. So it's really good to go through what triggered my emotions. Why do I feel that way? And being able to get on a scale, there's a scale here as well. How do I feel on the scale of 1 to 10? Is my antsiness and irritability a 10 out of 10? Am I feeling a 3 out of 10 and it's not so bad? And so I ask here as well, applying regulation techniques. What are those regulation techniques? Well, thank you, Jessica, for your feedback. I got a whole coping skills glossary in the back here so you can figure out, well, what do I do? Because obviously there's things in here for you to look through and think, okay, this works for me, that does not work for me. So what do I need to do right now to control this emotion? My go-to is grounding as well as taking a deep breath because I need to calm, that antsy feeling that I might feel. And, grounding really helps with being present and thinking about the moment as opposed to being stuck in the past, worried about the future. But grounding really helps. And at the beginning of each section, I have the mindfulness moments here. I was going through the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise yesterday when I was talking about the school shooting. Even if the trigger is something that society brings to us, something that's happened in the country, it's good for us to use our mindfulness moments. It's good for us to use that when it's something internally within us or within our family. But, even things that we can't control, there's still things that you can control within you. You can control what you do with that emotion that you get. So those out there who say, well, what? People can make me feel. What do you mean people can't make me feel? Well, once you get that automatic feeling, you can change that feeling. Just like you get the automatic thought, you can change the thought the same way with your feelings. Okay, fine. Somebody triggered anger in you. Somebody triggered irritability in you or sadness in you. That's still a result of something in your past, some baggage that you haven't let go of. Take control. Why would you want to blame somebody else for making you feel some way? If you feel like it's someone else blaming you, no, no, no. If you feel like it's somebody else that's making you feel that way, then you have no control. You have no control over your feelings. But if you know you have control over your feelings and can't nobody make me feel that way, yeah, that's great. Then cool. I'm going to be joyful no matter what you do to me. So be empowered, be empowered. So the gratitude section breaks into helping you. And oh, yeah. So I mentioned this like maybe a few weeks ago, but each section gives you enough worksheets to work it through like each day for a week, right? You might like skip a day and do it for 2 weeks. You can do it however you want. And so gratitude goes a week. And each day, having you figure out today I'm feeling grateful. Today I'm feeling blessed that I woke up. That is what gratitude is. It's identifying what you do have because the opposite of gratitude is identifying what you lack. Why are you pointing out what you don't have? Wish I had longer hair. I wish I had smooth skin and that I didn't have acne scars. I wish Although I lost weight from my baby weight, I wish I had abs. This is me. I'm actually saying stuff that I've thought to myself that I wish my hair was longer. Because if you look at other pictures, my hair was so much longer. What else have I said to myself? Different things, right? But how is that helping me? Because then I'm more focused on what I lack as opposed to what I actually have. So if I say to myself, you know what? I'm beautiful no matter what. I am thankful for my hair. I'm thankful for my curls. I get a lot of compliments on my hair. I look good. I'm doing a good job. I did lose weight, didn't I? I don't care that I don't have abs. So if you start talking about what you are grateful for anyway, you feel better. You just automatically feel better. Hey, you might think it's fluffy, but you're going to feel good. And just forcing yourself to have positive affirmations. So the fourth section of integrity, trauma yields, I've mentioned, getting through your traumas. Once you've been able to work through your thoughts, you're able to change your automatic thoughts from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. You're able to change your negative emotions that you might get and have more control over regulating those into positive thought emotions, and then you're able to like be readily able to practice gratitude, and it's just no problem for you to say positive affirmations. That's when you're ready to get through your traumas, your past traumas, because it's hard to say like, okay, I'm just going to jump right in and process my traumas. So that's why this section, it comes fourth within integrity. Let's jump right in now. I am ready to be able to get through my traumas. And usually, when it comes to getting through your traumas, it does mean talking about it with a therapist, talking about it with someone you feel safe, talking about it, how it hurt you, talking about how it makes you feel, going through some of the details. The gold standard treatment for dealing with trauma is trauma focused cognitive behavioral therapy. I pull in some strategies. I'm not saying this replaces therapy. If you really need therapy, you need to get some therapy and tell your therapist about this book because y'all can use it. But, the mindfulness moment for trauma yields is grounding visualization exercise. Sometimes you might get to the point where your trauma just hits you. You are reliving it. Something you smelled triggered it or something you saw triggered it. You saw a man, you passed that street, you saw that dress, you saw that color. Something reminded you of your trauma and you're stuck in it and you're on high alert, fight or flight, freeze, done kicked in. Sometimes you need to do the grounding technique to get yourself out of that. And so for this grounding technique, finding a quiet space, breathing deeply, closing your eyes and visualize a safe space. I've talked about a happy place in the past as far as identifying our five senses when we are in a happy place. What is a safe space for you? If that trigger reminds you of that time. And I don't want to go into too many details because if you're listening and it reminds you of your trigger, my goal is not to trigger you. Think about a safe space. What does feel safe? Oh, I feel safe when I'm thinking about being in my mom's lap when I was 5 and I felt so comforted. Oh, my safe space is being on the beach. My safe space is driving on the road, is walking through Disney, even though that can be a trigger to some people. What's your safe space? Get ready for that and know what that is because you know you're about to get triggered. Yes, talking about it, and thinking about it. Someone just made a comment. So visualize, picture a place where you feel completely secure. Imagine the details, sounds, smells, and textures. So that is just like the happy place where I recommend thinking about your five senses in your safe space. Think about your five senses. And that really pulls you out of that flashback when you're able to do that and think about those details. Engage in your senses. So notice the sights, the textures, the sounds, the smells, the taste of that place. Affirm the safety and say to yourself when you're breathing with each breath, I am safe now. I am at peace now. That's better than the opposite, where you embrace reliving that trauma and you let it go into a panic attack. Again, this isn't victim blaming. This is empowering you so that you know that you can take back control over your feelings and say, trauma, I'm done with you. So once you're done doing that, that can be very helpful for those urgent times when your trauma comes to you. The trauma yields worksheets really delve into you understanding your trauma. So you're describing the trauma that you might experience in detail. And like I said, you might have to be able to do that with a therapist, or you might need to do it with a therapist. And of course, it's going to bring out emotions. But the more you talk about it, the more you process it, the more you come up with strategies of how to combat those emotions that you feel when you experience the effects of thinking about your trauma, reliving your trauma, the better you'll be able to get through it and deal with it and cope with it. And then you realize, oh, that's not bothering me anymore. It's like you're desensitized to it. That's the goal. Because what happened in your brain is that now, because of that trauma, you're so sensitized to that yellow dress because that yellow dress reminds you of the trauma and you get a panic attack every time you see a yellow dress. But typically, a yellow dress should make you feel happy or make you feel nothing, but you have heightened senses. You're sensitized. So we need to remove that and desensitize you to that yellow dress so that you're no longer getting traumatized when you see it, but you feel nothing. So that's the goal. Identifying those triggers, identifying what coping skills help for you. There's a lot of details. There's a lot. And that's just the first section. That's just the I in inspire. That's integrity. And so it's packed with helping you through your thoughts, emotions, the gratitude. That's your spiritual health. So when I talk about this helping you with your mental health, that includes emotional health, spiritual health, as well as unpacking those traumas. And that is how we can unpack our baggage. Let it go. If you're not going to go through your whole day, the whole week, carrying all the bags that you've had when you were on vacation, why are you going to go through life carrying around all the mental bags that you done collected throughout your life? You got to let it go. Elsa got it right. Yeah, I had to make that reference. Thank you for watching. So this is episode 1 of the Inspire Joy series. Next week is the N in Inspire. That's nurture. That's our physical health, activating our healthy eating, healthy sleeping, and exercise. So I'll be talking about that next week. Thank you for listening. Have a great one.